So when we're writing documents for business or for education, we want them to look professional. We want them to look good. So there's several things you can do in Google Docs just to enhance the appearance and the professional appearance of your document. So the first thing we would want to do is get rid of untitled document. It's a terrible title, and call it something a little bit more sensible. So if we were doing something for a particular unit and we wanted to give it a sensible name, then the obvious thing would be to call it the title of the assignment or the title of the criteria. So if I was doing, say, unit 22, and I was doing something on I don't know, the Native American Indians, for example, I could say, Native Americans, something like that. I could call it some sensible name. And then the title of the document, we get the option here to change to quite a large title or subtitles, or we've got headings, heading 2, heading 3. So we might want to go to heading 1 for the title of the document. So we can have something like the plight of the Native American, something along those lines. And then we're back to normal font size. Again, font size, 12, 11 is a decent font size. You don't want to be going any bigger really than, I would say, 14 maximum for this kind of document, because it just looks enormous. So we don't really want that. And again, stick to kind of bog standard colors such as black, because it's meant to be a professional looking document. We don't really want a rainbow of fruit flavors in there. Okay, another thing that we can do is use headers and footers. So it's quite useful, especially for teachers and lecturers, if we have the name on the document somewhere. So if we choose insert, we've got headers and we've got footers. So I might, for example, just put my name up here in the header, so that it appears on every one of my pages. And so if it does need printing off, at least if the pages get a bit mixed up, we know whose page belongs to who. And it's good for people to know, obviously, who the author of that document is. Another useful thing to have is page numbers. So we can insert page numbers from here, and we have a couple of options. So these are if you want the number at the top of the page. This starts on page 1, this starts on page 2. This one is when the number goes at the bottom of the page, and this one starts on page 1, and this one starts on page 2. So if I was to click this one here, you could see it puts a number in the bottom there for me. There are some extra options. If we choose page numbers here, we can start at page 2 or page 3 if we've got several cover pages, whether we want it in the header or the footer, and whether we want it to show on the first page or just begin numbering at page 2 instead. Okay, and another nice thing to do is if we just write of here, then go back to the insert menu, page numbers, and put in the page count, this will automatically add up. So if a document ends up with 4 pages, it will say 1 of 4, 2 of 4, 3 of 4, 4 of 4, which again is useful for whoever's going to look at this document to know how many pages we are expecting to be in the document. And if it's printed and obviously someone prints off only 3, or the printer runs out of paper, you'll know, like when it says 3 of 4, that 4 of 4 is missing, and so that works fine. And to come out of these, you just have to literally click back into the document. So to double click, and then to double click at the bottom, that will take you to the footers, and just to click away from it will take you back to the main body of the document. Okay, so that's headers and footers and page numbers and page counts.